Jeffrey was not prepared for this part of his life. Once he finished school, he had no plan on what to do as a man. And so he was pulled towards the easiest pleasures and desires, wasting his time on porn, video games, and movies. He wanted to be great. He wanted to be a superhero, but he just didn't know what to do with his life. What job should he get? What business should he start? No one prepared him for the realities of life once he left school, and he struggled. He battled depression, anxiety, and negative thoughts. He felt like he was disappointing his parents every single day. He just didn't know what to do. Adonis sees young Jeffrey in the pit of despair and lends him a muscular helping hand. He walks him through the 3 steps needed to find direction in a young man's life, and it becomes so clear to Jeffrey this is the path. Step by step by step, Jeffrey is able to find meaning and purpose in his life. He goes from being unemployed and feeling like a loser, like a disappointment, to feeling like he's contributing to people that he cares about. Jeffrey's happy. You've done it again, Adonis. If you're a young man and you're feeling lost, here's the 3 steps that you need to take. Step number 1, we need to reframe your mindset. Believe me when I say that if we just change your mindset slightly, you're gonna feel better from literally like 5 minutes from now. The problem with your mindset is that your bar to success is too high. It's kind of like the beginner who goes to the gym and only feels good if he gets to bench press 60 kg or even 100 kg. You're not at that level. So the problem is that you deem success or positive direction in your life as something that you haven't really been able to achieve just yet. But if we make you enjoy and celebrate the smaller wins, suddenly you'll get that positive psychological feeling of, being on the right path, feeling good that you've been productive. And it's those feelings that lead to bigger and bigger wins. For example, right now you feel awful, right? You relate to Jeffrey, especially the bit where I said that he feels like a disappointment to his parents. You relate to that. But do you see the fact that you're not smiling on the fact that you're watching this video right now? Do you not realize how much respect I have for the guys who watch this kind of content compared to all of the other things you could be doing with your time right now? Do you not see that this is a win to celebrate? There is so much entertainment, video games, porn, and you clicked a video to discover what to do with your life. Do you not see that that is a win? You should literally start smiling a little bit right now, thinking yeah, fair enough. It's not massive, fine, but this is part of the journey. I'm going one step in the right direction, right? Now, along with that, we want to be celebrating every other small win you possibly can. And this just requires a bit of a mental reframing for you, where you have to remind yourself, come on, be happy about this. Be happy on the fact that I watched that video and I took some notes. Be happy on the fact that I, texted my friend telling him how I feel. Maybe I've been consistently going to the gym. What we're trying to do here is make you feel better, because it's the positive feelings that lead to more positive actions. Now, what positive actions do we want you to take when it comes to actually finding direction in life if you're feeling lost? I'm gonna go about this in a completely different way. You might have clicked on this video expecting me to say, okay, here's the fastest way to make 10K a month or to get dating girls. But I firmly believe that there's 2 things you should focus on instead. And if you allow me to just explain my points here, I think you're gonna agree with me. But it's gonna hurt, because it's gonna destroy every perception you had about success and about what achievement and a good life looks like. I'm gonna pre-frame this by saying to you, and I bet you'll agree with this, a lot of the modern world is kind of fucked up, right? You know how we were brainwashed into believing porn was actually kind of a good thing for us. Remember, I don't know, your teacher might have told you that masturbation was good for boys. All of our testosterone levels are fucked. We've got the rise of feminism and men and women hate each other. You get my point, right? The modern world is fucked up, right? And we as young guys, we're looking out to see, oh yeah, the diet industry, the nutrition industry is fucked up. The dating market is fucked up. Everything's lowering our testosterone. We've been sold this lie of casual sex, right? I'm telling you right now, there's one more that you haven't figured out, and it's the concept of money. Most guys, when they're feeling lost, they'll just revert to whatever will make them the most money right now. And I'm telling you, that is a part of the psyop, the rat race. The second step of finding direction in your life if you're feeling lost, this is just my opinion, but I promise this is going to help you a lot more. It's not to focus on money or the business model that's going to try and, get you to be financially free. It's to instead focus on mastering a skill that results in the money. When you focus on the money, the subscribers, the resources, when that's your goal, the 10K a month, 1 million followers, you end up like almost sacrificing your values and just trying to take like whatever you can get, thinking what can make me money, what can make me money. That isn't the powerful way to live. Instead, what's better is you figure out which skill you'd like to become a master at, and then that becomes your vehicle for making money. And then you're thinking, okay, sounds like fine, but like, how do I know which skill that I should be going into? When you were a child, when you were a teenager, there was a skill, like some kind of task, some kind of mission that was right for you, that you had some weird pull towards. Because of social judgments, because of your parents, because of friends and what you saw on movies, you kind of stopped believing that you could focus on that. Your parents maybe told you to be more realistic. You started to get pigeonholed into just studying, and maybe now in the last few years it's been all about like online businesses. But there was probably something that might stick out to you if you just allow it. Like don't keep yourself in the sort of frequency, like the sort of like vibe of like, oh, I can't figure it out. But really allow yourself to really think and like be nice to yourself here and think to yourself like, yeah, I'm gonna find it. What was the skill? Think back to particular weird interests that you had as a child. For me, it was giving advice to people. I was 5 years old, 6, 7 years old. The new term that like the young guys are using is like lock in. I was that kid telling my friends to like lock in when we were literally like 6 years old. Not in the like, oh, we gotta make money, but the idea that we should have like a goal and we should be like working towards something. But what I noticed was like I had this weird pull to try and encourage people to like achieve good goals. You might be able to think of something like that, and it could serve you to pause this video, to just sit there for a moment and don't put yourself in a negative headspace, because there'll be some guys watching this saying like, oh well, I can't find it anyway. Put yourself in a positive headspace and think to yourself, yeah, what was it? What did I used to enjoy? Maybe ask your parents as well. Was there anything that I had like a big interest with? What we want to do is find a skill that you feel is right for you, that then you want to go through the trials and tribulations to master and hit. You know what the beautiful thing about this is? You clicked on this video because you're feeling lost. You don't really know what to do with your life. This is it. That concept of like not knowing what to do with your life, people just make it relate to which career in business that they want to go into. But I would tell you, for now, forget the career in business. First think about the skill. Then we can put you into the career in business that benefits from your skill. So which skill do you want to master? And maybe if you can't think of like the one from childhood, just ask yourself logically, which skill do you want to master? Because hopefully you have the positive thoughts and the sort of self-belief where you're thinking like, okay, you know what, if I put in like 8 hours a day into learning and practicing a skill, I could become amazing at it in a few years. Obviously, maybe I'm not starting off at a high level, but I could become really good at it in a few years time, 5 years, 10 years. You probably have that self-belief, right? Basically, any skill possible is available for you. So the skills can be, this is my bias, so don't just let this limit your thinking. But let's say the skills that I could consider for myself: giving advice and encouragement to people, coaching, teaching, mentorship. You see, like these are all potential skills that I could choose between, interests that I've had in my life. And then you just choose one where you're like, you know what, if I could become a master at that skill, that would be cool as fuck. Like that would give my life a lot of direction and meaning. If you're trying to decide between two different skills, an interesting question you can ask yourself is, what kind of people will you be surrounded by if you became amazing at this skill? I remember I was on the flight to Bali and I was writing down that I wanted to get more into kickboxing, and I wanted to have like a kickboxing fight. That'd be cool. In the last like 1 or 2 years, I haven't had that much like fitness discipline as I've wanted, so I wanted to have like a season of leveling up this skill. And as I was writing this, I stopped and I was like, you know what, I think that would surround me with the best kind of men. Like, I'll be real with you here, I've had like a lot of different social circles. I've had like the video gamers, I've had like the weightlifters, the bodybuilders, I've had the entrepreneurs, the influencers, and now I'm having some of the fighters as like, friends. And I speculated this, and I think it is true. Probably being around fighters is like the best kind of guys to be around. Not even for the idea of like, safety, or you're with friends who can fight. Like, fuck me, I have a lot of respect for those guys. Just yesterday I was doing my session with my coach, and there's 2 guys from my gym who are fighting today. So this was yesterday, right? So they were getting ready for the weigh-in. So that's where like they need to be super, super lightweight to step on a scale to be like underneath a certain weight. And my friend who was fighting, he's there on the floor of the gym, wrapped in like tin foil and towels and a sunglass to like sweat out the last like little bits of water. He's got a bunch of people around him who are putting like tiny bits of like ice on his face just so he doesn't get like, I don't know, too dry or something. And later on I see him in the changing rooms and he looks lean, like not even lean in like, you know, a nice attractive way, but like crackhead lean. Like his stomach has went down like this wide. I'm like, literally. And his face is all sunken in. Imagine like looking at it like a crackhead. I don't say that to be disrespectful, but you get my point. Like the sunken face, right? And you know, he's still keeping like good humor and stuff. But I was like, bro, I fucking respect. Like I gave him a fist bump. It's like, I fucking respect what you're doing. That must be so difficult. And he was like, yeah, you know, like I can't wait to just get the weigh in and then I can eat and I can just drink some more water. And I was like, holy fuck, like that's cool as fuck, right? And it's at this point that I felt so grateful that it was kickboxing, the skill that I decided to level up recently. So maybe for you, if you're trying to figure out which skill it is, just ask yourself, like, what do you want to make progress in? Who would you like to be surrounded by? Because once you've figured that out, we can move to step 3, which is making a contribution to your community. If you felt like you had a tribe, like imagine us being in like caveman days right now, we're all in a tribe, right? If you felt important and needed in this tribe, you would not be sat there thinking like, oh, I don't know what to do with my life. Because we would all come together and say like, oh, we need another hunter. And because you'd want to feel like important in the tribe, you'd be like, yeah, me, I'll be the hunter. Like, you know, you need to teach me, but I'll try my best. You'd want to contribute. You'd want to be useful. What happens when we don't have a tribe like that anymore and each man is his own island? Now it's like, well, who are you working for? A lot of us say, okay, our parents, we want to retire them, fine. But that honestly doesn't seem to give us like as much of a drive as maybe as it should do. What I've found is the tribe, like the community to contribute to, for most guys, like the kind of guys who are watching this, it should be a group of masculine guys who are on a similar path to you. By all means, you want to make money to give to your parents. You want to make money so that you can like look after your future wife and your children. But over the next like 5 to 10 years, one of the best things you can do is integrate into like a masculine community, a brotherhood, like a group of masculine guys who are doing shit together. For example, one of my students, so I have like a community, which to be honest, you could go and have a look at if you want. Like maybe it is a pitch, but like I didn't even expect to try and sell it to you in this video, but it does actually fit here. But a student in my sort of masculine community, he's making Adonis house where him and like 10 guys are gonna go move in together for a couple of months to just grind and lock in amongst each other. Imagine living in that house of guys who like, you know, watch my videos, who are gonna call you a Jeffrey if you like stay up late or something. There is no way you're jacking off. There's no way you're watching porn. There's no way you're eating shit food, right? All of the guys are gonna be like eating together, growing a business together. If you put yourself in that kind of situation, you would want to be useful to the other guys there, right? Now imagine the version of you that joins like Adonis house and you're muscular, you're the biggest guy there, like bodybuilding wise, right? And so everyone's asking you for advice of like, oh, what's your workout? What's your meal plan? You're like, oh, don't worry, boys, I'll take you to the gym with me. Think about like how good you'd feel. There's no way on that day where you've taken like 6 guys to the gym and they're asking you for like gym advice that you're going to be sat there thinking like, oh guys, I don't know what to do with my life. It's like you just fucking found out, right? You just help guys get into shape, right? And the version of you that, let's say, has built up a skill like creating content and speaking to the camera, and you've got 100,000 followers, and then you meet basically every other guy who wants to get into this kind of business model, and they're asking you for advice, and you can be useful and give them advice. You're contributing to your tribe, to your community. Since I started talking about this step, contributing to your community, people have just clicked off this video. It's so sad. You can go look at my YouTube channel. Every time I make a video on like brotherhood and community, people just don't fucking watch it. It's so weird. People complain about being lonely. They complain about being directionless. They complain about lack of relationships and friendships. But when I try and give advice on it, people just stop listening because it's not as sexy as like, oh, hey guys, here's how to make 10K a month fast. Here's how to fuck as many girls as possible fast. Just please believe me when I say this. This is a really important point. If we can get you into a group of like 4, 5 masculine guys, all of the guys are like ambitious, goal striving, and you have some skill that is like valuable to teach to the rest, you will instantly feel like you've got life direction. You'll instantly feel so fulfilled. So first we start with the skill. Once we have the skill that we've been leveling up, you know, we're not masters yet, but we've got a bit of progress. That's when we're trying to use the skill to just help people that we care about. We try and mix into a community. Now, how do you find this community? You might be lucky enough to like walk into the gym one day, there's like 4 cool looking guys and you end up speaking to them and you're just invited in. That can be awesome. But the more realistic version of this is you become the guy who's inviting people. yourself. You become the cool guy who's warm and inviting, and you invite this guy to come to the gym with you. You invite that guy to sit down with his laptop to talk about business. And suddenly you have like 4 or 5 guys who meet all the time to discuss like business and finances and purpose and mission and relationships. I do this every week. I meet like maybe 6 to 8 guys. We all spar each other, like we do kickboxing against each other, like we fight each other. And then we go get steaks afterwards, and we often talk about like business and life. And then I have my own massive community, which is a paid community, but I do think it's a fair price, because in the olden days, men, and even right now, men always paid for access into communities that like someone else has done the work to kind of set up for. And so I have a paid community, which is called Adonis School. I usually don't link it in the description, but you'll be able to find it somewhere. And that's where we have like this masculine brotherhood. That's where the guy I told you who's making Adonis House, he was able to find the guys that he wants to go and live with. So you could maybe go find that if you want to. But either way, you don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. It's just when you pay for something like this, it's just nice because someone else like me has done the work to gather the people, and you're like, okay, fuck it, I don't know how to find the people and stuff. If Hamza's done the work already and he wants $100 for access into this kind of program, yeah, fuck it, it'll save me like a bunch of time. Obviously, if you can't afford that and you just want to do it the free way, you absolutely can. It just takes a bit more time. That's it. You follow those 3 steps and you're not lost anymore. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.